Alrighty, so we are back with another video. Today will be another little training video. I haven't brought y'all one of these in a little bit. Last few videos have been a little bit more like life stuff, which I've enjoyed making, but I saw that a couple of y'all were requesting to get my lower B session recorded. So I'm gonna get after that today. My lower B session is more of a hamstring focused day. So there's more hamstring curls, some deadlifts, some hip thrusts in there, and just stuff of that nature, more of a like posterior part of the leg dominant day. So I'm going to go over that with you guys today. This is a pretty long session. This is my longest session of the 4 different ones I have during my split. Usually takes me quite a while. So like typically in the mornings, like today I have off work, which is a blessing. But typically in the mornings when I have this session, I got to get up extra early because it takes me anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. And if I really got in there and got after it, probably like hour 45, but it's still a long session because it's, I'll have the breakdown of the workout right here, but it's 3 sets of lying hamstring curls, 2 sets of stiff leg deadlift, which really take it out of me, and it takes me a while to get warmed up and stuff like that for that. And then we actually got a new hip thrust machine at the gym, which I'm excited to show you, which will be my 2nd time using it. But it's pretty sick, and that's actually going to cut off so much time for my session that I would typically spend setting the hip thrust up, because I'd have to get like a new bar and set up the bench so it wouldn't rock back and forth, and then set up the weights, and it was a hassle. So now that we have a hip thrust machine, that's going to cut off probably like 10 minutes off my session. So as I was saying, two sets of hip thrusts after the stiff legs. And then it's 3 sets of lying hamstring curls. And since we wanted to really get my quad growth going and you really try and drive some volume into my quads, after that it's 5 sets of leg extensions. And then it'll go into a leg press set, which I'm going to show y'all that. And something my coach introduced me to is called a mat set. So pretty much the first set you're aiming to fail within 15 to 20 reps. And then after that you take 20% of the load off. And then after that, you do sets of 10, and then you go until you can't do 10 sets anymore. So if you are pushing, you absolutely just can't get the 10th rep, or if you fail at 5 or 6 or whatever, that's where you end it at. And then the only time that you progress your weight is if that first set you get more than 20 reps, or if you get to 5 sets of 10 reps. So if you do 10 reps 5 times and you can keep going, but then the next session you'll increase the weight. So whichever one of those occurs first, you go off of that, and then you increase the weight based off of that. And then after that, there's an abductor superset. Oh, I forgot. Start the session with 3 sets of calves. Forgot that. And then that's the session breakdown pretty much, which I'll have put it on the screen. It would be a little more easy to read or whatever. But that's the session for today. It's a good one. I'll probably still sound pretty stopped up and stuff, but my sickness is pretty much over with now. It's just allergies, which I have allergies year round, so nothing really new there. So feeling good physically. Wrist has been a little janky recently. I heard it on T-bar rows. I was going down on a rep, and it popped really loud, and it just hasn't felt good since. But hopefully that'll not bother me too much while I'm deadlifting today. But I'm excited to get after today's session because I feel good, feel rested, had a productive day so far. So now I'm gonna get down the pre-meal, which is a typical pre-workout meal y'all seen in the past, and then we will get into the session. So I'm gonna sit down, watch a little bit of the Bro Chat podcast, and then I will see you guys at the gym. So, starting off with calf raises. With these, I'll do 3 sets. With the first set aiming to be 18 to 20 reps, and then I'll keep the weight for all 3 sets. But each set, your reps should decrease. So I kind of aim for 18 to 20 in that first set, and that second set anywhere from 15 to 17-ish reps, and then that last set be anywhere from 10 to 10 to 13 reps depending on how heavy I go with the first set. So keep the weight for each of the following sets after the first one, and just keep the weight the same like that. But a couple good cues that I kind of go over my head with these that I actually have gotten from a few other people, from Hunter Labrati, y'all may know him, is try to imagine you're like, when you go up with each rep, you want to get as high up as you can, like explode up as far as you can with your foot. So imagine like you're driving your knee, trying to drive your knee over your toe. You can't actually drive your knee over your toe, but just imagine you're contracting as hard as you can to bring that knee over the toe with each rep. And that's a good cue that I've used with these ever since I started doing a lot of standing calf raises. I'll try and do it. I don't know if you can see from up with each rep. You're trying to imagine like you're bringing your knees over your toes with each rep when you contract. So like exploding up as far as you can, and realistically you can't actually bring your knees over your toes because that would just cause you to fall. But this is kind of something you can imagine to get the most out of each rep with calf raises and stuff like that. On my quad dominant day now, I don't have any hamstring curls, so the execution and how I perform these on this day is pretty important because it's the only really hamstring work I get in my three-day split. So with the seated hamstring curls, I'll run one top set, trying to fail between 18 to 20 reps, and that second set will be also aiming to fail between 18 to 20 reps, but the weight may decrease a little bit. So like for my first set, I'm gonna go for 150 in that range. Fail 18 to 20, and then back off set. If you get to the 18 to 20 threshold, you can say back off the weight and then go again, failing from 18 to 20. But last week I kind of like finagled with this machine and realized that like this is probably a pretty known thing, but maybe something y'all don't know and something that I know now that I can fix. But keeping where your feet goes, keeping like right under your Achilles, so right about there, you could say, right about here. And that's one good point to make with this. And then another good cue for these hamstring curls is trying to imagine you're pointing your toe backwards. It's gonna like engage your hamstrings a shit ton more, because I did that last week with a lot less weight, and my hamstrings, I've never felt that pumped up after doing this machine. So kind of kind of mess with your machine a little bit and get it to where you're like the resistance is right at your Achilles, and then point that toe backwards, and that's going to get a lot more activation of your hamstrings and all that jazz. So we'll run 2 sets here, and then we'll run either barbell stiff leg deadlift if my wrist doesn't feel like it's broken in half, or we'll run dumbbell stiff leg deadlift after this. So. Oh, I feel strong. So this is my first time I'm gonna attempt to pull actual barbell deadlifts in a couple, I guess like 2 weeks, because I was sick before, and then before that my wrist was hurt, so I was doing dumbbell, which this is my first heavy set. So if my wrist does feel really bad this set, I'll just switch to dumbbell, because I don't want to regress the health of my wrist. So, but my main problem with these stiff legs is, man, I really know that like the gain and like hamstring development and stuff will come if I stay really strict with the form and stuff. But dude, I really sometimes want to come in here and pull really heavy, which increases the risk of injury, but still it's just a lot more fun to pull heavy and not care about your form, which has benefit to that as well. But I guess you gain some, you lose some, whatever. But with these, I'll run a top set of 10 to 12 reps. Couple main points with these is really aiming to keep continuous reps, not resting a lot at the end of each rep, just keeping it going, keep as much tension on the posterior chain as I can, and really controlling the weight. So like with this first set, my form is usually really good. And then that second set, which is back off of 15 to 18 reps, my tempo gets a little bit quicker because I just, for me personally, I feel like I've gotten the most out of that back off set when I speed up the tempo a little bit and get a lot more reps. So we're on 2 sets here. Hopefully my wrist will hold up and feel good. I felt pretty strong warming up, so if my wrist feels good on this warm up right here, I may up the weight a little bit and try to get like in that 9 to 11 range for that top set, and then go into a back off set. So I'll go up a little bit. Oh, come on. This is a cool little machine my gym just added. It's like a good little hip thrust machine, which I'm so glad we got, because having to set up hip thrust on just like a free weight bar with a random bench is the biggest pain in the ass. It takes like 15 minutes, so glad that we got this. But this is one exercise that I'm sure probably 99% of you guys watching this skip, which, I mean, if you're not looking to like body build specifically, I guess you don't have to do hip thrust technically, because like if you're just lifting the lift, you don't really need like an ass, I guess you could say. But if you're bodybuilding and you're skipping hip thrust, you know, you can't get shredded glutes without having glutes in the first place. So that's kind of like my mentality with these. But these are really good, especially this machine. You get a really good stretch at the bottom compared to like a free weight hip thrust. So I'll do 2 sets here, 1 set, and the first set, top set, aiming to get 15 or 12 to 15 reps. And then the back off set, looking to get about 18 to 20 reps. And I have been noticing that like a 10 rep range as well with these feel good. So I may go for like a 10 to 12 rep set for the first one. But my go-to cues with these is a really good squeeze at the top of each rep, and to make sure I'm touching my butt to the pad each time, get like a full good stretch at the bottom. Especially if you have a good machine like this, you can utilize like the seating, the pad of the seat, to kind of know how far you're going and if you've gone far enough and all that kind of stuff. So good squeeze at the top, good stretch at the bottom, and controlling the weight through the whole movement. Oh my God. Now that we're done with the hip thrust, move on to our last hamstring dominant movement of the session, which would be our lying hamstring curls. Kind of apply the same principle as I did with the seated hamstring curls. I try and get the resistance, the rest essentially, the foot pad right at the bottom of the ankle, so like right here at the Achilles, and try and keep that tension in the hamstring for the entire movement. That's something that I've really been put a big emphasis on with these lying hamstring curls, and not just trying to like kick the weight up, but trying to contract the hamstring to move the weight. Intentionally moving the weight, not just moving it from point A to point B, as you see a lot of YouTubers will say, or bodybuilders will say. They'll say, if you're wanting to bodybuild, don't just move the weight from point A to point B, move it with intention, move it with the intended muscle. For my last set is what I do is I do an FST set, which maybe some of y'all have heard. It's like Hani Rambod's, one of his like techniques, or FST stands for fascial stretching training, which is essentially he says you can stretch the fascia to make the muscle bigger, which the fascia is like the connective tissue that surrounds muscles, like I guess like under the skin. I'm not too inclined with those words yet, but so for that last set of 15 to 20, I'll fail and I'll drop the weight about to like 70 or something like that, and then each rep I'll hold at the top of the concentric for 5 seconds, and then I'll control it down for about 3 to 4 seconds, and I'll do that until I can't move my legs anymore, and that will give you the craziest hamstring pump when you're done. So 3 sets, last set drops that into an FST set, and then after that we'll move on to more quad dominant work. I dropped the weight a little bit, aiming to get anywhere from 12 to 15 reps. Fail, drop the weight a little bit, and then run my little FST, little shenanigans, and I'll show you how that works, which is a pain in the ass, but. All right, hold on. It's a pretty funny angle, I'm not gonna lie. But all right, anyways, so that'll be it for hamstring dominant work. So now we'll move on to more quad stuff, which we kick off our quad work with 5 sets to failure of leg extensions, which is horrific. But a couple of cues or a couple of points that I've been going over with these a lot is not just moving the weight, like I literally just said on the other one, is not moving it from point A to point B. And one of my main points I've been emphasizing with these, which I really hammered yesterday, and now for some reason I don't usually get really sore after my leg days, which is crazy, is like hard as I push it, but like I guess it's just an execution thing at this point. So I really hammered like not letting the tension, hold on, let me show an example. Whenever I get here, not letting the tension just go away from my quads, and not going from good contraction to just letting the weight drop and like holding the weight in my knees, essentially. So pretty much just trying to keep the tension in the quad from bottom to top to bottom, and the whole time, and not like, because like the main like mechanism of muscle breakdown, I believe, is time under tension. If you let the weight get off your quads at the bottom of the rep each time, you're kind of just taking away from as much as you could get out of your reps, essentially. So when you do your sets like that, you don't have to use as much weight. I know it looks a lot cooler to go like full stack and just throw the weight around, but when you use the intended muscle, you can use half the weight and it hurts to get just as much out of it as if you were to use a shit ton of weight. So on the leg press right now, so that's fine. I can give my quads a break and really go ham whenever I do go to that leg press set. But now we'll just run 3 sets of 15 to 20 of adductors, abductors. If you want to know a little way to differentiate what is an adductor and abductor. Adductor, you're taking your legs and you're adding them back to your body essentially, and then abductors, you're abducting away. Or you could just do abductor, there's a B in it, you're working your butt, abductor, whatever. But we'll run 3 sets here, 15 to 20, and then we'll do our little leg press mat set, and then we'll be done. Woo. Oh, ooh. Ooh. Had to wait a little bit for the machine, but that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll go 1 set, 1 top set, trying to fail between 15 to 20, and then we'll take 20% of the load off, which typically is just a plate for my top set weight, and then we'll do sets of 10 until we can't do 10 anymore. And then I may throw a challenge, and at the end, like I did yesterday, I did 3 plates and I went until I got 100 reps. So I may do that again, honestly. That was kind of fun. And my legs are sore than they ever been, and that's what I'm needing is leg growth. So I may run that again, I may not. I may be too shot at the end of this, but I'll do like a sped up clip of all of this, kind of like. So first set, fail between 15 to 20, 20% of the load off, and then sets of 10 until I can't move. So, yep.
So I brought that girl a DeLorean. 21 minutes until I got go, so I told that girl I'm gonna slaughter it. I met that girl right up at my show. Left her man in the crowd on the floor. Out of town, never saw her before. Told her, baby, we don't got that long. Listen, this not my city show, but I treat it like my city show. 20 more minutes and 20 more. 20 more minutes and 20 more.
Fuck it. All right, so we've got our pre-workout meal here. Typical meal. We got 250 rice, 240 chicken, 100 blueberries. Typical, or the same meal that y'all seen in the past. So that was a good session. I really like throwing in those intensifiers now. Before I was kind of against it, but like after yesterday, just a mental challenge for yourself. It's pretty cool to have every once in a while. I don't think you should do it on every set or every day for that matter. But I think on some days here and there, like just throw it in, have a little fun with your training. You know, I think that throwing in things like that can increase the enjoyment of your training will allow you to be more adherent to it. For bro, my exam just got canceled. What? The testing site got shut down. What? Okay. Well, anyways, that's so fucking unfortunate. Oh my gosh. I was gonna take my personal training exam next week and I was gonna ace it, but now I guess I'm not. But that's a little insight I can give y'all. Gonna take that exam pretty soon. Then I'm gonna look into doing some exercise science college. I'm gonna think about going to college now, because during high school, like I I really pushed back on college because I was like, this is a waste of my time, blah, 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 blah. But it was the only reason I thought that was because I didn't have a reason or a purpose I felt to go to college. I didn't have any interest. But now that I'm really interested in fitness and exercise and helping people to their best physical, mental self, all that jazz, I have an interest and I have a purpose to go to college. So hopefully I'm going to do 2 years at the community college in my town and then transfer from there and get my bachelor's in exercise science at another college. So a little background or a little behind the scenes info about me, things I got going in my life right now. But good session overall. I cannot wait to eat. It's a little bit later for my 4th meal, but I can stay up a little bit later and work on getting this video worked on. So let me know what you guys want to see in the future. More training, diet, in the day in the life, behind the scenes, live talks, anything like that. Just let me know what you guys want to see. I'm thankful more than you know if you've tuned in and you've watched this far into the video. I really want to make this whole fitness YouTube entrepreneur thing work out eventually, and I know it will. But if you've watched this far, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you've enjoyed the video, like, comment, sub, share it to a friend, turn on that bell for subs, anything, every little thing helps. Just your view helps. Like, you don't even gotta do any of the other stuff. Just you watching the video means more to me than anything, because I can't believe that people actually want to watch my stuff. Like, it's pretty dope. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. If y'all need anything personally, reach out to me. Find my Instagram. Well, I deleted Instagram, so if you reach out, I'll see your message at some point. And if you need anything, just reach out. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.